It's the middle of the spring rush. The phone rings, the estimate is approved, and the contract is ready to sign. But instead of booking the job, you have to turn it down because you simply don't have the crew to do the work. When you turn away a signed contract, that revenue doesn't disappear. It walks directly over to your competitor, locking in their expansion while your annual projections hit a hard ceiling. If this happened to you last May, you are in the majority. Across the commercial landscaping sector, 51% of operators report that recruiting and retaining staff is the single tightest bottleneck on their entire business. This chart shows exactly where that pressure comes from. Look at the massive gap between the 97,000 seasonal H-2B visas requested by contractors and the strict cap of fewer than 65,000 actually approved. To fight for the remaining local labor pool, 81% of landscaping businesses have been forced to rapidly hike their hourly wages. Scaling into that overflow market relies on having the liquidity to support a crew weeks before the first invoice is paid. Most successful growth happens when those hiring funds are secured well before the spring rush hits its peak. Let's look at the math of adding crew capacity. Bringing on just 2 new team members introduces a base wage cost of roughly $7,500 a month. Once you factor in payroll taxes, liability insurance, and workers' compensation, that burdened labor cost reaches a hard $10,000 monthly cash outflow. This graph tracks a 60-day operational timeline. Payroll expenses hit on day 1, but revenue stays flat until day 45 when clients pay. Relying on internal cash to cover this delay drains emergency funds, creating the spring trap, a scenario that suffocates seasonal operations. Achieving true scale requires recognizing that 60-day gap as a structural feature of the business and bridging it with external working capital instead of risking your baseline operating cash. In commercial finance, there is a strategy known as sunshining. It means applying for capital when your business is performing at its peak, rather than waiting for a moment of desperation. This split-screen timeline compares the two approaches. You apply in February, hire in April, and bill in May. The alternative is waiting until a mid-June payroll panic, which severely limits your options. To secure the most favorable premium rates, underwriters look for a specific performance threshold, hitting at least $20,000 in monthly revenue. If your operation is currently below that mark, you have a strict 30-day fix list to complete. First, open a dedicated business checking account and immediately halt any overdrafts. Next, pay down all revolving credit card balances so they sit below 30% utilization. This rapid credit optimization proves you maintain strong financial discipline. Capital markets operate on a predictable set of rules. They reward early, methodical preparation with low rates and aggressively penalize chronological desperation. When your application reaches an underwriter, it passes through 3 specific filters. The commercial marketplace segments lenders so you are matched strictly with institutions that understand the seasonal dynamics of landscaping. This diagram shows how the remaining filters process your data. The second layer checks your credit tier. Scores over 720 unlock premium rates. Finally, the loan size filter sorts your request. Working capital under $150,000 qualifies for an expedited underwriting process. Navigating these specific filters allows an operator to move past the uncertainty of a standard bank application. By matching the business to the right lender from the start, you force the marketplace to compete for your business. Let's look at how this plays out by March. Because you prepared early, a funding advisor can present you with 3 matched, highly competitive offers, all with 0 upfront costs to review. By April, you enter the execution phase. The capital hits your operating account, allowing you to immediately onboard and train 2 new hires well before the seasonal rush starts. At sunrise, the investment translates into action. Instead of 1 crew, 2 fully loaded trucks pull out of the yard simultaneously. When May 15th arrives and the phone rings with a major new contract, you aren't calculating capacity limits. You have the immediate resources to say yes. By July, the math compounds in your favor. The recurring revenue generated by that extra crew capacity covers your monthly capital payment 4 times over. If you turned away contracts last season, it is time to build your bridge. Go to BusinessLoan.Directory and run a 2-minute soft pull pre-qualification. The capacity limits of last May do not dictate your future. Securing the right capital at the exact right time is